communication process is the transfer of meaning from one person to another. In order for communication to take place, a message needs to be conveyed between a sender and a receiver. There are 8 main parts to the communication process. These include sender, encoding, message, channel, decoding, receiver, noise, and feedback. There are 3 modes of communication. The primary means of conveying messages is oral communication. Some examples of oral communication include speeches, formal one-on-one, and group discussions. Through oral communication, we can convey messages and receive feedback in the shortest amount of time. The earliest form of communication is written communication. It includes any method that conveys written words or symbols. Today, this includes things such as letters, emails, text messages, and social media. Every time we deliver a verbal message, we also deliver non-verbal communication. This includes things such as body movements, emphasis on words and facial expressions. Non-verbal communication places emphasis on the sender's verbal message. Here are the top barriers to effective communication. Filtering is when a sender purposefully manipulates information so a receiver will see it in a more favorable light. For example, an employee will oftentimes tell his boss what he or she believes that the boss wants to hear. Selective perception occurs when the receiver selectively sees and hears based on their needs, motivation, and personal characteristics. Receivers also project their interests and expectations into communication as they decode them. As a receiver, we interpret what we see and call it reality. Information overload happens when the information we have to work with exceeds our processing capacity. When someone has more information than they can use, we tend to select, ignore, and pass over certain information. Emotions become a barrier to effective communication when you are angry or even when you are happy. Individuals in positive moods are more confident, and people in more negative moods are more likely to scrutinize messages. Language is often a difficult barrier in communication. Words mean different things to different people. Age and context are 2 of the biggest factors that influence these differences. When people from different generations or backgrounds interact, communication can be lost. Silence occurs when there is a lack of communication. Silence can be the message to communicate non-interest or inability to deal with the topic. Oftentimes, it can be the simple outcome of information overload. Communication apprehension is when people experience tension and anxiety in oral communication or written communication. People with communication apprehension find it very difficult to talk face-to-face and send an email instead. This creates communication barriers and delays progress in the working environment. It is estimated that between 5 and 20% of the population suffers from this. The last barrier to effective communication is lying. When you outright misinterpret information or withhold information about a mistake, this is considered lying. When the average person tells 1 to 2 lies a day, this compounds significantly across a large organization. Here's a real-world example from the CEO of a recent startup boutique, Flame Flamingo. Every Tuesday and Saturday, I have a young employee scheduled at the store. I frequently have to remind her to vacuum, clean, work on our Instagram engagement, and change our mannequins. Though I tell her I need all these tasks done before I come in, I often find that only the mannequins have been changed. She selectively hears what I'm asking her to do and chooses to do what she considers the most fun tasks and neglects the others. She hears what I am telling her, re-ranks the tasks in order of what is most important to her, and executes only that, even though all the tasks are weighed equally. She hears what she wants to hear, and however, does what she wants to do, showing the selective perception she demonstrates when it comes to her job.